extreme weather conditions as parts of the Mediterranean experience severe heat waves.
The sun is atrocious today.
This latest Greek heatwave has been deadly. Winds from North Africa have been pushing up temperatures. There's a haze of dust across the Athens skyline.
Okay, so as I'm recording this, last week we had an intense heat wave here in Greece. It was so bad that schools were closed. And I want to talk to you about this because I have just received a comment from somebody on my channel, and I think it's a valid point. And I've been, reading about what's been going on for the last 10 days or so here in Greece, and we're going to go through another heat wave coming up. In fact, today is another extreme heat day. The weather conditions are about to get really, really warm, really, really hot, very, very quickly. We do not have any African dust like we did last week. However, for this time of the year, it's still early to experience this type of intense heat waves. Usually we experience this type of heat waves in July and August. So I just want to share with you exactly how do we cope with the intense heat waves here in Greece as someone who has been living here for 14 years. And hopefully I can help you navigate this weather conditions that we experience from time to time here in Greece. Obviously, tourists and visitors are not prepared to deal with these extreme conditions. They underestimate the power of the Greek sun. They underestimate the power of going for a hike. They underestimate the power of being in the beach. I mean, look at this beautiful beach right here. And as I'm recording this, it's midday. Okay, that's Arvanitia Beach. That's a beautiful beach. As I'm recording this, it's very, very sunny. Unfortunately, for a lot of tourists, the mistake that they make when they come here to Greece is that they believe that a hat or an umbrella is enough to protect you from this sun, especially when it's Mesimeri. Nothing can be further from the truth. Yes, it's better than not having it, but it's just not enough to protect you from the sun. So even if you have a hat, even if you have some protection, even if you're wearing glasses, when we're talking about extreme heat waves, as combined with African dust, this is not enough to protect you from the heat. You need to be indoors. You need to be somewhere where you're completely isolated from this weather condition, especially after the heat wave that we experienced last week, where I couldn't even go outside to the balcony and just sit in my own home and enjoy a nice tea, okay? It was just not possible to even breathe. That's how dense the atmosphere was. So be mindful of this and try to look for shelter and try to avoid being outside. All right, so here's some tips to stay safe when we experience this type of heat wave. Number one, hydration. On a regular basis, we're dehydrated. Apparently, the average person does not drink enough water. So add to the mix that we might be going through a heat wave or just a regular summer, like I say. We need to be aware of that, and we need to be drinking enough fluids. We need to be drinking enough water. Sun protection. We need to add some sun protection. I did a video quite recently, actually, telling the story of how I went to the beach early in the morning and I did not put any type of sun protection. And I burned myself completely. And I got burned pretty bad. So sun protection is something that you should be wearing even when you're just going for a walk. Not necessarily just when you go to the beach, but actually when you're out and about. So for example, on a day like today, I have to put sunscreen, even if I'm just doing a video here outdoors. So this is something that you really need to take in consideration. Even if you're gonna go around Athens, walking, you're gonna go out and about here in Greece when it's summertime, as a rule of thumb, just put sun protection. Number three, the timing of your activities. What do I mean by that? Well, if you're gonna go to the beach, it's a good idea to go early in the morning. It's a good idea to go late in the afternoon. It's a terrible idea to go Mesimeri. For example, right now as I'm recording this, it's 12 o'clock p.m. So a lot of people go to the beach right now. I mean, even Greeks do that. Even when it's just a regular summer here in Greece, it's advisable not to be exposed to this type of sun when it's between the hours of 1 o'clock and 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It's not uncommon to see families and kids playing in the playground at 9 o'clock p.m. in the summertime. There's a reason for that. There's a reason why people do things early in the morning and avoid doing them in Mesimeri. So if you're visiting Greece and you want to go to the Acropolis, I highly recommend that you go early in the morning, as early as possible. Avoid going in Mesimeri. 11 o'clock in the morning on a summertime to go up the Acropolis is a terrible idea.
So this is my first time in Acropole and the heat is terrible, like, you know.
And if you can't make it that early in the Acropolis, then try to go to the Acropolis as late as possible. Try to go as late as possible when the time is more fresh. You don't have this intense heat, so you can really enjoy yourself. And I'm talking from experience because that's exactly what I did the very first time I came here to Greece. The first time I came to Greece, I went to the Acropolis at what time? 1 o'clock p.m. Okay, I went to the Acropolis exactly in Mesimeri, and it was a horrible experience. It was way too hot. It was so unbearable. Okay, I have already talked a little bit about this as my experience and, as someone who has been living here for many, many years. But it's always a good reminder to you, the visitor, to know what the locals do. On a typical day, for me to go to the beach, for example, with my family, in a nutshell, what we do is that we go early in the morning or late in the afternoon going to the beach. Another thing that I like to do when it's summertime and we are deep into the summer. So what I like to do is that I like to be at home, have lunch, close the shutters so the house is completely dark, and have a siesta and just enjoy the shelter of my home and pretty much just be away from this type of sun in Mesimeri. And this is what a lot of Greeks do. I mean, even Greeks that do not have air conditioning in their own home, they will just close the shutter in order to make the house darker. So if you're a visitor and you're a tourist and you're staying in a hotel and you want to protect yourself from the extreme heat, it's a good idea to be in your hotel room, close the curtains or the shutters or whatever you have. I'm guessing that in a hotel you're not going to have shutters, but if you're staying in an Airbnb, most likely will have shutters because it's a Greek place, right? It's a Greek home or a Greek villa or whatever. And that's how we cope with the heat here in Greece, especially in Mesimeri. Have your meal, or even if you go out to a taberna to eat, go back to your hotel room and enjoy the Greek siesta, enjoy the Greek time. You might be thinking like, hey, I did not come to Greece in order to stay in a hotel room or locked in my Airbnb with the shutters closed. And I understand that, but that's the Greek schedule. That's what we do here in Greece. You're not gonna be missing out. You're actually gonna be tapping into that Greek schedule and that Greek lifestyle. That's why Greeks stay up late so much. And that's why you will go to a taverna. You will see families and kids enjoying a meal way late into the night. And finally, this is probably the most important part of the whole video, the information that you need in the case of an emergency. You need to call to the national emergency number. Keep this number safe when you come to Greece if you're a visitor or a tourist, and make sure that you have it saved on your mobile phone. Λοιπόν, παιδιά, αυτό ήταν. Ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ. Thank you so much for all the love and support. I really appreciate all the messages, all the comments, all the emails. Σας αγαπώ πάρα πολύ, and I'll see you in another video, my friend.